public comment on anything that isn't on the agenda. But there is none unless Guy has anything or Chris Coda has anything.
I'll just add when we get to the sewer.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Who's laughing there? Is that Sue?
Yes, it is.
You're on mute, will you?
She popped up when she heard sewer.
Oh, Sue.
Pays attention then.
We once had an ad for a sewer operator, and a lady came and said, "Well, I know how to sew." Cheers. Okay, Amy, do you want to lead this discussion since it was your idea?
Sure. I'd like to thank Chris and Jennifer for coming. I have been so happy to know that we have responsible schools in this neighborhood. And this is more of an opportunity for you to boast about what's happening. I'm hearing informally that things are going well, but I really appreciate the fact that you're willing to come and meet with us. It's just a brief update that I want, but given Governor Scott's announcements recently and all the changes that we're coping with, I wanted to reach out to both of you. Thank you for coming.
Well, thanks for asking. Chris, do you want to go first? You have more schools in your domain. I just have one, so.
I'm not used to going first, so. Yeah, my name's Chris Pratt. For those of you I have not met, Superintendent of Wyndham Northeast. Yeah, it's been a busy, I guess, going back to the spring, and it continues to evolve, I guess, each week. But I can give you the latest update. So the latest update is right now, all our K through 6, all the kids are back in school 4 days a week, meaning that on Wednesdays, they're remote learning, and that's K through 6. So we can still have the all the buildings cleaned and sanitized, and gives the opportunity for the buses as well for the same thing. But I think that's going to change very soon. We see the increase in the COVID cases on a regular basis keep going up no matter what we try to do. So I guess the next thing is that we have the school nurses, the wellness committee, a good amount of the school task force, including myself, are going to be requesting the SU board on Wednesday night to have remote learning for just the week after Thanksgiving and the week after Christmas. And the reason for that is too many unknowns at this point. We can only rely on, the information that people are giving us, and with the spikes in the cases that we have, that'll just give us some buffer room in regards to if, unfortunately, if anyone does come down, test positive for COVID, we don't want to find out about it at the entrance of the door of the school when we're taking their temperatures. So that's the next thing on the list. Right now, we're, every day that teachers and students are coming in the school, we're taking their temperatures, we're asking the questions, we're really keeping accurate data, and it's already coming very useful. As most of you know, we had those cases in Westminster that we shut the Westminster school down for a week, but we were able to act so quickly on it because of the data that we're keeping on a regular basis. And so they were really the state, the nurses who do the contacts out to anyone who might have been exposed, we're able to hand that right over to them immediately. So I'm very fortunate to have a great team of teachers and nurses and support staff and administrators that, we're meeting and talking on a regular basis. And pretty much any decisions that we're making, we're really saying, we got to put the safety of the students and, in my case, the employees first. And it hasn't been easy because there's a lot of opinions out there on what we should be doing on a regular basis. But any decisions we do make, we're going to put the students' safety first and any employees who work there. But I can't say enough about the teachers and the administration. They're going above and beyond. A lot of people would think that, this hybrid learning where, they only have kids in the school, A, B, or B day, they're working around the clock. I'm getting emails at all hours of teachers and administrators, because we're constantly trying to readjust our plan and making sure that kids are getting our learning. But it's right now we're in pretty good shape, but who knows, we don't know what tomorrow brings, and we're just taking it one step at a time. But I really am very proud of the work that the teachers are doing in adjusting to the online learning, as well as the parents. This is no easy task for any parents at all. I mean, we're all struggling with this, but I think we just continue to communicate with each other and coming up with the best plan for kids. I'm not saying the best plan is going to be the ideal plan, but nothing about this is ideal. But that's where we are right now. We're planning on bringing the sixth graders back at the middle school the end of November. And then we're in a plan right now to look at trying to bring back the seventh and eighth graders as well. The tough part is the middle school doesn't have a whole lot of space. As you all know, that's even limited to the exterior as well. It's not like we can pop up tents everywhere and bring them in. So we're trying to find a way to make it work and trying to explore. The board wants us to explore spaces outside of the school. That's difficult too, because we want to make sure that we have access to the sanitization of the building and other safety factors that go into that, such as we want to make sure that we got to keep the kids safe and a way to lock down that school if we have to. So there's a lot of balls in the air. I think Jennifer will agree. It's every day is a little different, but it's constantly something that it has taken up all of our time because it should at this point. I'm open to any questions that anyone might have or anything that I didn't bring up.
I think it's a great idea to have remote learning that week after Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, either the state might make a decision, before or shortly after that. Who knows at this point?
Yeah.
What we're finding out is right now, all SUs around the state are doing something a little different. They may look similar, but.
Mhm.
Do you have a sense of whether teachers are going to travel?
Right now we did a survey and we did the survey last week or the week before to all employees. We had like 85% of them were saying, we're not traveling, but ever since the governor, made his statement on Friday, that number is probably even going to go up. I mean, we have a lot of teachers who have kids in college they have to pick up and they have to bring back. And that's one of the things we have to keep an eye on is that, with the mandated testing that they'd have to do if they leave the state, and some of them have to, we got to keep an eye on how that's going to affect the classroom. And that's why we're suggesting remote, because we may have teachers, no fault, they can't blame them if they have to drop kids off at college or pick them up, or they have a family emergency that brings them out of state. They're not going to be able to come into the building from 7 to 14 days. So we want to make sure we're being proactive and saying if we go to the remote learning the week after each holiday, it gives us time for the teachers can still teach their students remotely. And it'll leave us in a quite different situation if we don't have that option. So.
Are you having many students homeschooling or seeking out other alternatives rather than attending in person?
Yeah, I think statewide we've had an increase on parents homeschooling their students. And so the ones that we have, they're saying they're doing it because it's an option they have, and they can take advantage of that opportunity. A lot of people can't because they're working, but there is an increase across the state in homeschool learning. We're lucky enough also that we have through VTVLC, the Vermont Learning Collaborative, that we have a lot of students who are fully enrolled in that learning process there through Vermont Virtual Learning. I think there's actually 3 options out there, but I just got the homeschool list today. It's a lot longer than it has been in the past. So yeah, we do have a number of students, but the principals have reached out to these families and said, once this is over, they're planning for their kids to come back. But I think in some ways that parents just got burnt out from the spring really quickly when we were all trying to figure it out, and they just didn't want to take that chance again. But yeah, there is an increase in the homeschool population.
Amy?
Thanks, Chris. That was really helpful. Jennifer?
Sure. Thank you, Chris, too. I commiserate This is it's tough work. I met with some of you. I think it might have been in August now, just to lay out our plan. And I'm very proud to say, have followed through. In the early days, we had a battle against mask wearing and social distancing when the kids first came off of the summer. But we sent home letters of warning, and then we actually sent some kids home, and that did the trick. And then everybody
Mm.
has really wonderful and compliant. When you're disciplining, you got to follow through.
Mhm.
The other thing that was in our favor, besides turning around, some of their habits from home, was that the weather was great this fall. So we were able to set up some tents and have outdoor classes and really make the most of that, including on the weekends, since we're boarding. So we have, the weekend livelihood to worry about. And I'm, another positive was that kids were outside and enjoying being outside more than they ever have. I've been fighting that battle against streaming movies and all of that. And lo and behold, they were outside a lot. So that was great. Our faculty, I just want to say what Chris did too. I mean, the faculty have been amazing. And that turn toward online learning in the spring was probably the best professional development experience you could have. It didn't cost us any money, and everybody had to do it. And then because they practiced it over and over, it's permanent. So now they know so many skills they didn't before. So we have been having students go through, and all of our community go through the health check every morning. That includes our movable population, all the day students, all the faculty who live off campus, and our facility staff, dining hall, housekeeping, etc. Um, we had a school-wide Centigen PCR test when we created our bubble in September. And that came back with no positives, which was great. And then we have we have 2 antigen testing machines, and we test the population, basically about 10% of the population every week randomly. We've had 1 false positive, and that was thrilling to know it wasn't real. But I'd say, out of this whole trimester, we had maybe 2 times we had to quarantine kids while we were figuring out what was going on. And they were allergies and colds. So we don't have a single COVID case to report, which is kind of amazing. I'm gonna knock on wood, where the kids are going home. We had made the decision originally to stay through December 10th and have Thanksgiving on campus. And about, I don't know, a month ago, we decided that I made this decision because the faculty were stressed. It is a lot of work and a lot of responsibility. The kids didn't want to go home because they just want to be together. It's not that they have unhappy homes. Teenagers prefer to be together than with anybody else. So we made the decision to go online from this Friday until December 10th, and then to have a break from December 10th to January 10th. On January 10th, if the state doesn't change rules, and insist that we open later, which is entirely possible, we will start to phase back the students in the same way we arrived. So students taking public transportation or coming internationally would arrive January 10th. They would have quarantined beforehand, though on the public transportation, arguably that's a moot point, but then they will quarantine again. And then we'll all be on campus around, I think it's January 19th. And then we have an all school COVID PCR test again scheduled. And then we've got our bubble. We also changed our schedule so that there's no spring break. And we're going to go straight through to the second week in May, so that we only have 2 onboarding experiences, once in the fall, once in January. We'll have some long weekends and maybe a staycation of some sort in March. We have not allowed parents on campus at all. That has just been different from some of our peer schools. We compete athletically in the Lakes region, as most of you know, in New Hampshire, and many of those schools had allowed parents and admissions visitors, and we have not. which has been difficult for families. It's been really hard, but there haven't been any visits. So that may have contributed to our statistics. But yeah, I mean, the morale is pretty high considering. And, I think the biggest challenge for us is going to be dealing with families and kids who really want to compete athletically. And since we have that Lakes Region Conference, and if the state says we can't go out of the border, even though we have a bubble that we created over all our schools, we follow the exact same protocols. We had a couple of games in the fall, and we go directly to the school, turn around and come back, no stops, and no COVID cases, no sickness on either end. And we won the game. So, but that's the sort of stuff that sustains kids is, being able to compete. So we've been competing against each other here, and it's been pretty good. But we might be looking for some and hoping to have doors open to compete in the state. So I'm going to be talking with Mill Moore, maybe you, Chris, to see if we can have some competitions here in Vermont. So, we have a COVID team that meets weekly. And then I've been on Lakes Region calls with other heads twice a week since April. And we've just been supporting each other, sharing news, giving each other tips. And that's how we've gotten through this. So that's the summary. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer. But I'm also just so grateful to be in this village in the state of Vermont, where we have the best statistics in the country and everyone cares about everybody else's neighbor, including Vermont Academy. So let that go on the books. But it's pretty impressive. It's hard work to do what we're doing, but we really have made a mark nationally.
Great.
Are there any questions for Jennifer and Chris before we let them go?
Thank you for your good work.
Yeah, keep up the good work. And I'm so happy to hear that morale is high, because I think that's tough. I'm
Mhm.
sure everybody can really use the break that's coming up.
I think they can. You're right.
Okay.
So thank you both for coming.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Thanks, guys. I just have been wondering about what was going on, and I thought it was a good opportunity to reach out to them. So I appreciate you all making time during a busy agenda.
That's good. And
That was
they may,
really good to hear.
yeah. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the November 2nd meeting.
So moved.
Second, is there a second?
Second,
Are there any additions or corrections? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Thank you, Carl, for another great job. Warrants and bills, did you receive the updated list that I sent?
Yep. I'll make a
Okay.
motion to accept the warrants and bills as distributed totaling $9,607.84.
I'll
Second.
second that motion.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, fire station roof repairs. Oh, my goodness. You received the estimate, and that's for like a complete do-over, which is not what we need. We need a tarp or something temporary. And so I talked to Art, and he suggested, I had tried to reach Jones Brothers, but their phone doesn't work. So I actually went up there and put a message on their door. And then Art told me that he heard that Jeff Jones had fallen and wasn't doing any roof work anyway. So now I have to reach out to somebody else, and he suggested Stetson. So that's
Where's the roof leak?
on the
station.
south, yeah, the fire station on the southwest corner next to the river there.
It's on the riverside.
Yeah, on the
Matt, I
riverside
think on,
southwest.
I think there's actually a picture of it.
Oh, yeah.
In the
Oh.
information that Jansowitz distributed.
Yeah,
It shows pretty clearly where there's some missing roof shingles.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. The whole thing is pretty bad.
I'll go up and throw a ladder up there and look at it.
Okay, great.
I'm assuming that we're anticipating this building will be replaced
Oh, yeah.
in the next 2 years, 3 years?
I don't know. Let's hope as soon
Hopefully,
as,
too.
Okay.
yeah, we certainly can't put $17,000 into it.
No,
Or 31 for the better to go.
All right, so
All right, sewer fee questions, participation in the VCAAP.
Louise, I want to just stop you. So you are attempting to get another bid from someone?
Yeah,
Was
well,
that your reference to Stetson?
Stetson, like that,
Stetson,
like the hat.
okay.
That's, I don't know if any other roofers in around here. I don't know them. But that's what Art suggested.
Okay.
Okay, sewer fee questions. You received the copies of the 2 letters that we had received? Are there
yes,
any comments?
I'll make a motion.
Who
Okay.
said that?
I did.
Oh, okay, yeah. What's your-
Well, taking the first one from Annie Guyon, I'd make a motion that we accept what she has here and her payment due to the fact that she's not bringing any income in. She's willing to pay $250 of it.
She has already paid it, I guess.
Yeah, which leaves $245 remaining.
Okay, now, she could qualify for this program, the VCAAP program.
Right.
Which is for people who are having trouble paying their sewer bills. And it's a fairly simple proposition, and you go online and you fill it out and send it in. And the money comes to the village. It doesn't come to her, it comes to the village.
By the sounds of it, she's not anticipating getting any income out of there till maybe next summer. So,
Well, still, she can still apply for this and pay for that, the 245, which is.
are we in discussion mode? I had a motion on there. I don't know if there's a second or not.
Is there a second? Okay, I don't hear a second.
All right.
Amy, your mute's on.
I'd like to second that motion for the purposes of discussion.
Okay, so it has been seconded. This is, now we're in discussion.
So we've
Well-
had this discussion on 2 previous occasions for the same request. We've declined the request 2 previous times on the premise that even if the business was vacant and not bringing in any operation, as long as the business exists, there's a minimum sewer fee that applies. So there's really no precedent to reduce the fee below the minimum. So I'm opposed to the motion.
Yeah, well, I disagree with you. I think it's the right thing to do for the times that we're in right now, Ben. Just my feeling. We're talking about $245. So she's paid the full on her residence. I just think it's the right thing to do.
So we're going to also do this for the inn and other businesses that aren't operating.
Yeah, okay.
It's just my opinion, that's all.
There isn't with this VCAAP, there is a way for people to pay who are having those kinds of problems.
Mhm.
And I think we should explore that first.
Does she have that information?
She's going to get it. I was bringing it to you tonight and it's ready to go.
Mhm.
I've already given it to Sarah at the inn and she's going to apply. So there's a good pot of money and we might as well take advantage of it because at the moment we have $10,000 in unpaid sewer fees And that does not include Annie, and it doesn't include the inn, what they owe.
Mhm.
So it's a big chunk of money. And if we have this program, we might as well take advantage of it.
Okay.
First, try that and see if it works. If it doesn't, then we can go from there.
Well,
But-
and
Oh.
for the trustees, I mean, another thing to consider, we've got a number of business establishments that are not bringing in any revenue. We've got the Lower Tenny's building. We've got the restaurant, that used to be, that's at the east
The
end
pub?
of the village.
Yeah,
All those properties are all subject to a minimum sewer fee because they're connected to the sewer. So if we're going to set a precedent to not charge any money for businesses that are not operating, then it would need to apply equally across the board to those businesses as well. And I think that's the wrong thing to do.
I don't think we can afford to do that for all businesses. Now, not all of them are not operating because of COVID, which is, I guess, an exceptional circumstance, but I agree, it's difficult to make an exception for one. I'd like to amend the motion that we defer action on forgiving the outstanding sewer fee until the property owner has applied to VCAAP, which we will provide the information for. And if that is not successful, we could revisit the motion. But I think
How about we just,
fair
how
to
about we
ask
just
for-
vote on the motion and we'll be done with it?
yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah,
How about we
I'm
just
not-
vote on the motion and be done with it, and we can bring it back around if need be.
Right. Amy?
I'm actually standing with Ben and Carl on this one, that we have discussed this before and we've come to agreement before. We've laid out rules. And if we change those rules, I agree, we're going to have to change them across the board for all of these businesses that are not operating at this point, regardless of whether they operate under COVID or not. I'm opposed to an amendment because I think it muddies the situation rather than clarifying it. I agree that the application to this new program to help pay expenses makes sense, but I don't think pushing for that activity from the board to individuals is the way to go. So I'm interested in voting against the original motion.
As
I'll
an-
withdraw the amendment if I can then.
So I'll
If
call
that's
the
in
vote.
order.
It wasn't seconded, so.
Okay.
I'm also concerned that individuals who are struggling may also say they deserve to have their fee forgiven. And they can also, businesses and individuals can apply for this. And I'm working with Alex to get the list of people so that everyone can be notified about this program.
That sounds great.
So we'll take a vote on the motion. I mean, yeah, on the motion.
Could I
Although-
have it read again, please?
We moved to accept the payment that the property owner has already made as full payment for the fee and forgive the outstanding amount, which would be $245. Is that correct, Matt?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Say nay.
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 Okay. So I will let her know about this VCAAP program, and also Melissa Rice, is it? And anyone else whose fee is outstanding.
Well,
I'd like to make sure the notes reflect that, Carl, that Louise and Alex are trying to contact everyone with outstanding bills to notify them of this new program that's
Yes.
available.
I will do so. Can I ask, how are we planning to notify? Will this be a
There is-
mailing or an email or a phone call?
As much as I can, I will send them the flyer that has all the information in either email or by hard mail, whatever you call it, regular mail.
So have we just decided on the 2 letters or just the 1?
That,
Sounds like.
I think we just
Oh.
decided on the one.
Okay.
yeah,
the second letter from Rice
yeah,
was, I guess, letting us know that they were in process of rezoning the property from 3-bedroom to a 2-bedroom, or 3 unit to 2 unit. I'm sorry, is the request. So when I looked back at our the sewer bills that have gone out for that property, it has, as far back as I looked, it's been billed as a 2-unit property.
okay,
So the change that they're notifying us wouldn't have any impact on their sewer bill, because it's not been being charged as a 3-unit.
okay. And she can still apply for this program with the balance that she owes. She was planning to pay $150 a month, and this way.
Yeah,
she could-
well, that wasn't there. The letter involved that she was told by the town planning board that if she was changing the usage of the property, that it may impact her
Oh,
or their sewer fee.
okay,
And
that wasn't true.
the change would not, because it's already been billed as a 2-unit building.
Okay,
Now, I would point out that she's actually requested to pay the bill in installments,
that's right.
but she just asks if it's acceptable if they pay $150 a month until they've satisfied the bill.
Mhm.
So they're not, I guess technically they are in arrears. And so this VCAP program would be applicable to them, but they're not asking for forgiveness. So it's
Well,
a
I believe
situation.
they were asking, they were notifying us that there was a zoning change to their property,
Right.
to see what impact that would have on the bill. So there won't be any change to their bill. And then the $150 a month is not going to get them paid in full by the end of the year. So I would say we need to authorize the treasurer to decline that payment schedule. But if they want to do a different payment schedule that'll satisfy the full amount by the end of June, I could support that.
Well, let's see if we can have them apply for the VCAP, whatever, before
Louise,
that.
to me, that's secondary. That's doesn't affect our billing
No,
or our need to receive payment.
okay.
Which property is it on School Street?
The Walsh's house, next
Oh.
to,
Okay.
We have sent a letter before, have we not? Explaining that this is a good time to construct a different payment schedule. Carl, did you send that letter? I should have looked back in the notes. I apologize.
No, we did not send out a letter. We put it in the minutes. But I don't
Okay.
think we sent a letter. I did not.
Yeah, and I believe that's what the homeowner is proposing, is a payment schedule, but I think they were proposing the $150 a month based on maybe anticipating that their bill was going to be reduced.
oh, okay.
So, since it's not, then it'll need to be more than $150 a month for them to pay in
Mhm.
full by the end of the year. I don't know what they've already paid. I don't know if they've paid anything, but I would say we should take the, the balance of the year here. So we're talking November, December, and then what, 6 more months. So it's maybe 8 months. Divide their bill over that 8 months. So it would need to be more like $200 a month, I think, to get it paid. Because I
Yeah.
believe their bills.
Just seems to me it calls for a clarifying conversation or letter so that they know, A, that 2 units is what they've been billed before,
Yeah,
and B, that it is permissible to make a payment schedule that would run through the end of June, as long as that would pay for the 2-unit bill, which in fact is the same as the bill that they've already been sent.
perfect. And I'd be happy to get back to Alex with that, or go direct to the homeowners.
Okay.
Do we need-
Anything else on the sewer fees?
I just, Amy, just responding to your suggestion of a letter. In the past, we have just provided the minutes that gave the decision to the person who'd appealed the bill, rather than sending out a letter. So I don't know if we want to start changing our practice.
I
or
think
not.
what Carl, to clarify that, I think we gave authority to the treasurer, tax collector, to set up payment schedules. And in this case, Alex was advising us that he didn't want to accept that $150 a month, and I think he was looking for some support on the part of the trustees.
Okay,
That decision.
okay.
Yeah. I'm very happy with Ben's offer to reach out.
Yes, it can be very clear that way.
I don't think I have contact information for them, but I can get it from Alex.
Yeah, it's box, wait a minute, I can tell you right now what the box number is.
Well, how about an email?
No, I can't. Okay. I thought I had the,
It's box 156, 3 School Street.
oh, is that theirs or is that the Walsh's?
It says Russell and Melissa Rice. It's the
Oh.
return address on
Oh,
their
yeah, it's
letter.
on the letter, right, okay, sorry. Yeah, right there. 56. Okay. Website update. Carl, what did you?
Louise, could I just sort of cut in for a
Yeah,
moment
yeah.
on the sewer? Because I know the last meeting, there was
Yeah.
the question of how are we defining people who are roommates?
Yeah,
And I said I would look in with
oh, yeah,
Anna
okay.
Marie Pluhar.
yeah,
And I think where things were, it's very similar to where I think Matt came down on. And it was like, let's not make this difficult. If it's a roommate, if it's just sharing, leave it that way. You know, what are you going to do if your married child comes back with another, with a baby, and then because of divorce or whatever, it gets far too messy. So just sort of leave it the way the house was built, and not get into trying to fine tune what a roommate is or what a benefit is. So I think that's where I think Matt was, and I think a lot of folks were sort of feeling that way. So that's just a word from Mary, Anna Marie.
well, thank you, that sounds good.
Sure. Yep.
All right,
Can I,
All right.
thank you for that, Guy. I'd like to, we don't have to maybe decide tonight, but I think it might be a good idea for us to form a subcommittee to look at drafting, officially some guidelines and rules around the sewer fees and how they're structured to incorporate that sort of decision. Right now, the ordinance that we have in place other than empowering the trustees to set the sewer fees, doesn't lay out specific guidelines. Now, we've documented what we do in practice as trustees, and we follow that consistently, but I think it would be a good idea to have a subcommittee formed and actually formalize it, maybe through a revision to the ordinance. But I don't know how everybody feels about that, but it seems like it would be appropriate.
You have a couple of friends who want to join you. Sounds exciting.
Oh,
I would be willing to help if you would like.
Does it take more than two?
Oh, you're assuming I'm going to be involved?
Well, you mentioned
Well,
it.
I think you need to be. You're the expert.
You've been doing it the most years besides me, but you're doing it more. Do you need more than two people, do you think? Or you want a disinterested party from outside the board? Of course, you gotta do it on Zoom, so.
And do you not want to be involved, Ben?
No, I'm happy to be involved.
Okay.
All right. Committee of two, if you decide, if you get bogged down, reach out and somebody else will join you, but.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready to move on? Website.
I'm good, signing off.
Okay, bye.
Hold on.
Thanks, Guy.
Yeah, thanks for your input.
So I sent everybody an email just to say that I've had some correspondence with Chuck Wise and talked about why he, when he put up the information I sent him, kind of changed the format. And he's looking to have a sort of consistency among the select board, the Village of Ellis Falls and the Village of Saxtons River, which did not allow for having the list of links up at the head of the page the way we had decided was important. So I went back and sort of compromised and put the blurb at the top and put the list of links at the top and put the list of trustees at the top and just made a longer column for officers. So I'd ask people to take a look at it, and if they have any comments, if it's acceptable to us, seems to be acceptable to Chuck. He seemed to like it.
Okay,
And if you haven't had time to look it over, that's fine. Just let me know if there's any suggestions or problems with it, and we can talk about them again in the next meeting.
now, do you have control over what you're posting at this point?
Yes.
Okay,
So Amy and I have the ability to go in and make alterations to the page
mhm,
itself. And I have an account to get into the place where all the documents are actually stored.
okay,
The town only has room for 3 people to do that. So Chuck is one and I'm one. But it's not a very difficult process once you figure out the peculiarities of Box. And it hasn't taken me a great deal of time to upload the document and then create the links to it. So,
you have all the documents you want now?
well, I have a select few up there, and if anybody has others that they think should go up, I'd be happy to add them. Any ordinances or official agreements, the bylaws should go up there eventually when we're ready to do that. I was thinking that maybe the village charter might want to go up there. And if and when we ever get our traffic ordinance worked out with Rockingham, they're still working on their ordinances. That would need to be posted. So any ordinances we have, any procedures. There seems to be pretty much unlimited storage. I think we can put up whatever we think is appropriate. It should be, I think, limited to governance of the village, and not be a link to historical or business or cultural
Mhm.
aspects of the village. They seem to have tried to remove that when they redid the website. And so I think we should probably honor that.
Okay.
I think it looks good.
Mhm.
It shows the time and effort that was put into developing it. I have not used my authorization to create an entity and go in and do that, and I know I need to get familiar with it, because it shouldn't only be on Carl's shoulders. But I really appreciate the work you've done, Carl.
Well, the first two pages, the first two changes are the hardest. And after that, it begins to make sense. It's a little different from any other system I've ever worked with, but it's not too complicated.
Okay. Wastewater treatment plant. You received that email of the emails that I've received so far. And I had another one today from somebody, I don't know who it was. I'm not sure how to answer some of these things because they ask about specs and plans, and we don't really have anything written out or drawn out or anything. And I don't know what these people in Prairie, Texas and some other place far away, what they have to do with. I think do they just reach out to everybody, Matt? Is that what happens?
Yeah,
So-
and that happens like that. They'll just subcontract out to
So that,
everyone locally that wants to bid with them on it.
oh, okay.
Make a percentage and
So we won't really have to worry about them or just kind of ignore them or whatever.
I don't think we should ignore them. If they've made an inquiry, we should
Well,
reply.
okay.
We should reply to them, if only to say, we don't have written specifications.
Mhm.
We have the dimensions, and
Mhm.
contact Rob with any questions.
That's what I've done with anybody local.
Well, I would do the same to the people who are not local too.
Yeah, okay. Just
I think we need to treat everybody who inquires about it
Okay.
equally,
all right.
even if they're not serious contenders.
Rob was going to come to the meeting tonight, but he hasn't shown up yet. He's concerned about the mold, and he hasn't had a bid from ServPro to come and clean it up. And he's also concerned because the door, it's metal and it's corroding, and he's had a hard time getting it open today, or so apparently, which is also part of the humidity issue. So he and I were talking and thought that maybe the contractor should replace that ceiling with what the material they used on the walls doesn't get mold. That they shouldn't have used what's it called?
they put sheetrock up in
Sheetrock. Yeah, they put
where
sheetrock
there's
up.
open water,
Yeah,
and in the other area it has that vinyl
yeah,
sheathing on it.
right. Which doesn't, because if ServPro comes and cleans it up, it's going to come back again.
Right. When
No,
it gets into the sheetrock, it's not going to. It'll come back out again a lot easier.
if it comes, what did you? If it,
Yeah.
In sheetrock, it'll get into the sheetrock.
yeah, I get,
It off and it'll look good, and you'll paint it, and it'll just pop out again.
yeah, it'll come out
Or
again.
it'll just germinate and it'll be right
Yeah.
back out.
Yeah.
So do we have a leg to stand on to ask to have that replaced?
But yeah, should be.
We have the what?
The ceiling. The sheetrock turned into, replaced with the same stuff they used on the walls that doesn't get mold on it. It's an open.
Yeah, that might be a reasonable step to take, but I think the contractor may state that they met their obligation to construct it per the specifications.
Mhm.
Okay,
And if sheetrock was spec'd out and that's what they used, then it
Then,
wouldn't be
yeah.
on the contractor to fix.
Yep.
of course, they should have thought about that, but
No, it's not up to them.
No.
Engineer should have thought about it.
No,
Just
that's,
going by the engineering that was involved.
Yeah,
Yeah, the contractor didn't design the building.
Yeah.
Um,
So it sounds like there's a humidity problem. There's just too much moisture.
there's too much moisture and it's all, there's no, you can't heat it. It's open because the sewer comes in that way, comes in from the outside. And it's a lot of moisture. And there's no circulation.
It's an open pit area
Yeah,
of
right.
liquid
Yeah,
bubbling around.
yeah.
yeah.
So, okay. So we'll see what ServPro does for cleaning up for now, but we may have to replace it. If we have to keep getting ServPro to come in and clean it up. It's
Right.
not
Well,
worth it.
I think the recourse would be with the engineer,
Okay,
more than anything.
Mhm.
And what we've heard so far is that the expectation was that the ventilation fan would be run to vent the moisture like you would run a vent fan in a bathroom
mhm,
to get the moisture out.
mhm.
And there's been some problems with the way that fan was, I think, installed, which is on the contractor, which explains some of the problems to date. But going forward, I'm not sure that that's a long-term solution.
What is it?
Like,
Replacing the ceiling?
yeah, I don't know what the plan was, whether that fan was supposed to be run continuously to keep the moisture out of that room, or if it was
Mhm.
only supposed to be run intermittently, depending on
Mhm.
what the, how high the moisture levels got.
Mhm.
That's never been clear to me.
Well, unfortunately, Rob isn't here to tell us.
Yeah. Maybe
Okay,
discussion for next meeting.
okay. So, back to the storage building. If we get the bids on the 30th, we may, I don't know if you want to open them and award them that day, or do you want to wait till the next Monday, which is our regular meeting?
How many have you received to date, Louise?
I haven't received any today, just inquiries.
Okay.
You know, they don't have to get them in until the 30th, so.
Yeah. I'm wondering if we may need to spread the net a little bit wider on soliciting inquiries.
Okay. To where, how do we do that?
Not sure.
Phone calls?
Okay. We'd have to have suggestions of who to call.
So how many inquiries have you gotten?
Well, I've gotten, let's see, maybe 3 of sort of local. And then one was like for the electrical work from Keene. You got that?
Mhm.
I sent you all the ones I've gotten.
3 sounds great. I mean, I know we don't know until the 30th, but that sounds very reasonable.
Yeah,
I don't
we've
feel
got
the need
3
to
inquiries,
do
but not
more.
3 proposals.
yeah,
But when are the proposals due? The 30th?
yeah. 2 weeks.
Yep.
I'd like to see us, we open them in a meeting. Is that what usually happens?
Mhm.
Well, yeah,
We go into executive session and open them and discuss them and then come out and vote, or,
yeah, something like that.
okay. Might be better to do it on the 7th.
The 7th or is it the 1st? What day is the 1st?
The 7th is
Oh,
the
the
first
7th, I
Okay.
think.
Monday of the month.
Okay. Well, the sooner we do it, the sooner it happens though, too.
Well, true.
I mean, I would be willing to meet on the 30th. And we'll
The-
have,
The
Everything.
bidders are expecting us to do it and open them on the 5th, on the 30th.
I
Oh,
would suggest that
okay.
we could have a special meeting on the 30th. then.
Because, you know, we're getting into winter and it's gonna be
okay.
harder.
I'm available.
Okay. All right, anything else on that?
So
On the
we'll
building, no,
warn,
but on the wastewater, yes.
Okay, what do you got on the wastewater?
So last week on Thursday, Alex and I had a phone conversation with Andrea and Seven Allen from USDA.
Yeah,
And we discussed with her the findings of the single audit
mhm,
and the resolution of those findings. We wanted to make sure that those actions that we'd taken were acceptable to her. And she asked that we summarize those and send them to her in writing. So I need to do that, and I'll take that action item. And then the other thing we talked about was the balance of the grant funds that are available,
mhm,
and reviewed some outstanding expenses that we've not been reimbursed on yet. And also talked about the storage building and possibly some other expenses that we haven't incurred yet, that we'd like to seek that grant funds for. And she also asked that I summarize, or that the village summarize those expenses, both the ones that we've already incurred and the proposed expenses, and send that to her for review. So I owe that to her as well.
mhm. Is there a
And I'll try to
deadline?
get that done, in time for, I'll try to get that done in time for that November 30th
Okay.
opening of the bids, because I think we'd want to ensure that we've
Yeah.
got grant funds available
Mhm.
um,
Did she give
to
you,
cover the expense of it.
did she give you any indication of whether that was a legitimate expense?
No,
Okay, she didn't say, forget it. Good. Was that part of the original plan for the whole facility,
What's that?
the building, the storage building?
I'd have to review whether that was in there or not.
Mhm.
I know it was always the intent, but whether or not it was formally included in the plan, I don't know. I'd have to check.
All right, good. Fire station building, anything besides the fact that its roof is in bad condition?
Nope. Not
You say,
current.
okay.
Nothing currently.
Other business, Ben, did you review that cell tower info I left under your desk, your porch?
Yep.
Any problems?
Yeah, I did. So my review of the cell tower agreement, and also my recollection was that there was some monetary compensation to the village that was due by the property owner and also Verizon. And my review of the documents confirmed that. And I think, since that project is now completing, it's something that the village should initiate the request for those funds.
Is the
Louise, I don't know
Verizon,
would that come from you?
is it Verizon and who else? Bucky? Who's the
Yeah.
other
Yeah, he's the
And the
property.
property owner.
property owner? Okay. I guess so. How much is it? Is there a specific amount?
I believe it was $10,000 from Verizon and $5,000 from the property owner.
Okay. And do they have to have a certificate of completion
So-
before they owe us the money? Or something?
Could be.
I don't think they're in operation.
I don't know if does anyone know if it's online yet?
They're still working, it appears to be that they're still working on the electrical connection, or were at the end of last week, so I don't think it's online.
Yeah,
yet.
it may be that it doesn't come due until the completion.
Yeah.
But it's
Or
not
repair.
something we want to forget about.
No.
So I walked up there, or we walked up there last weekend, I think it was.
Mhm.
Yeah. And Carl, going back to you saying, talking about gates,
Yeah,
there's 3 gates up there.
there are 3. There's one which is actually on VA's property at the
Right at
first
the
one you
top?
come to.
Right at the
And
top.
then as you continue down the road to the tower, there's a gate on the road to the right,
Yeah,
which is one that I requested that they put in.
yeah,
And then there's a gate right in front of that,
right.
which is supposed to be about 100 feet further down the lane.
Oh, it is.
It's supposed to be at the actual easement says mutually agreeable. The understanding was that it would be at the boundary. And
At
it's
your
not.
property line?
It should be at the property line, yeah.
Oh.
There's a stone wall down there if you go down 100 feet or so, and that's the property line. And I haven't gotten around to contacting the real estate agent that I've dealt with. I need to do that.
Yeah, that should be down
And-
where you, on the property line.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, I mean, I can always take a gate down.
That's on your property.
It's on my property, yes.
Right.
I can
You can always use it
take
somewhere
it
else.
off the hinges, or I can take my chainsaw up there, either one. It's only on wood posts, so I don't
Probably
I
have a
don't
horse
see
that
a
would
big
pull it over.
problem, but it would be nice if they could, if they care about it for access to their tower, it'd be nice for them to know while they're still working.
So,
I don't particularly care if there's a gate at that end or not,
right, that's,
because there's no way for people to get there.
well, they
I
want to
just-
stop them from driving to the tower.
Well, yeah, that's what they want. I wanted to keep from driving up that side road where I have the gate, because one or 2 vehicles on there is going to cave it in.
Right.
And the snowmobilers still use it, and I still walk up it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So do you know who to contact?
I've got the name of the guy that has been in contact with me before when we were negotiating the right of way. It's a guy named Andrew Davis,
Mhm.
who's a property agent. And if he's not the one, I've got the address of their attorneys. So yeah, I know how to get a hold of 2
Okay.
people anyway.
All right. Is there any other business?
Yeah, I just, as a point of information for those who haven't already heard, there was a problem with the well on the Warner Center property. And so people who are served by that well were without water for about a day.
Mhm.
And they now have a big container of water sitting there, which they're pumping into the well, and then from the well up to the cistern where it's stored. And apparently the well has gone dry. That's what I heard.
Hmm.
Due to the drought.
One of our fire trucks was up there today.
Could have been delivering water.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, well,
Or
maybe they
pumping.
were pumping. I think they're probably pumping.
I think they probably were pumping from they've got a big plastic tank, it looks like, and they're probably pumping from that into the well.
Hmm.
And then there was a truck up there probing the well, a boom of some sort. So they're working on the problem. I don't know how far along they are. Unfortunately, I'm not mobile enough to walk up there and ask them
Hmm.
what's going on, but,
You know, you have to get on your ATV and go up there.
oh yeah. Well, I couldn't drive I can't drive anything with a clutch.
Ride the horses.
Oh,
Okay.
great, yeah.
Do people know of other wells in Saxon's River going dry?
No, not in the village. I have heard that at least one well on somebody's house up Hartley Hill Road has gone dry.
Mhm.
But I don't know whose, and that's, just rumor from somebody walking past.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's early days, but it'll be something interesting to watch in the coming couple of years.
yeah, well, be something interesting for me because their well is not too far from my well. And
Well. Okay. Anything else? I
So
hope you,
we'll have, just to clarify, then we'll be warning a special meeting for the 30th.
That's
And
right.
it'll be to
Open the bids. if we have
open
any.
the bids, and also the matter that Ben brought up to discuss the,
No, we can do that at
to
regular meeting.
report on the response from,
What? We'll only do the opening the bids that day.
the
Because we haven't,
balance of the grant funds,
we
that
haven't,
report from
oh.
Ben.
oh, okay, yeah, okay. That will be important to know that day.
Yeah.
I
Otherwise,
don't know if we need to have that information for the 30th, but we probably want to have that before we actually award a contract to build the
Right.
shed.
right,
Make sure
By
that
the
we've got
7th.
funds to pay for it.
okay. Okay, I hope you all stay well, and have a nice Thanksgiving.
Thank
Need a
you.
motion to adjourn?
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in
Second.
favor, say aye.
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 Undebatable. Aye.
Hold on.